A very warm welcome on SuperGrads YouTube channel. Today I was just browsing the internet and I came across two quotes which I think will be very useful for you guys. The first one reads is success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is a courage to continue that counts. And the second one says the road to success and road to the failure are almost exactly the same. Today, we have someone who has been successful in the past and has certainly seen lot many different days than normal students who study in standard 12th because he was determined enough to crack IPM Indore in the year 2019. We have with us Ayush Raj. A warm welcome, Ayush, on SuperGrads YouTube channel.
Hi Rahul Bhaiya. Thank you for
Okay,
having.
so, as they say, it's very important, that someone who has already been through that journey guides you, then definitely your path is going to become much, much easier than what it is exactly right now. So today, Ayush, there are many students who are going to be part of this interview because they are going to listen to you very carefully, what all you did in the past that helped you at that point of time and how that can help others in the coming journey. So the first question coming to you is, we'll be talking about your IPM aptitude test preparations in the later half, but let me ask you this particular question. How has been your till date academic experience at IIM Indore and what all you have learned from it?
Okay, so I have extremely been proud of my academic journey in IPM. So right now, I've just finished my term 7 terms. So throughout these 7 terms, I have studied subjects like sociology, statistical methods, and apart from that, economics and philosophy. So studying these various subjects from the broad spectrum just gives you the perspective of knowing that there is so much to learn in the world, and IPM as a platform gives you that to just, it does not restrict you. You can explore any of the arenas, you can choose what you're good at, and you can just explore. And because of the options available in this particular undergraduate course, I think the academic journey for me has been very vibrant and different from the usual undergraduate programs that have been offered in India.
But one
Apart
thing,
from that,
what I am sorry interrupting you in between, I just want to ask this particular question. You told me that it's immensely diverse, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it has been immensely diverse, I understand, and most of the students always tell this particular thing to me. I just want to know how does your brain adjust? Because in one class you're studying statistics, in next you're
Okay.
studying coding, in next you have to study something from liberal arts. How does your brain adjust? You have to, I mean, do you have to do something from your own, or it's completely automatic?
Yeah, I think this question would have been really very relevant when I was in term one, because in school you're very used to, you're taking science stream or commerce stream
Right.
or your humanities. So you're very restricted. You know what class is going to come next. But here, as you said, one class we are doing coding, and literally the next class we are having a discussion about the metaphysical structure of philosophy. So basically, our brain does not adjust, but I think you get used to the routine. Used to
Okay.
in the sense, professors are accommodating. They realize that probably it's the second class or it's the class post lunch. So they adjust their teachings accordingly so that if there's a discussion right after a heavy period, the discussion can be carried forwarded in a matter that learning is in part of the time. So, yeah.
Okay. One more question coming to you right away. Guys who are just glued to the screens right now, just check he is sitting in a room in IIM Indore right now. So, many students who wish to go over there, if you can help me out with the room and कैसे adjust करते हो, how many people are staying over there and everything. अगर इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बता सको, it will be great help for all those who are listening to you.
Yeah, and I feel it's really important as well, because once you know what you have to achieve, then it's easy. The path becomes easier and you're motivated enough.
Yeah,
So basically, I'll just show everyone around.
great.
So this is the triple sharing hostel that we have, and we have like a two beds here and another bed there, and like we
A
have,
typical guy room which is very
yeah,
shabby.
yeah, it's clothes are drying because it's raining. So yeah, and we have this particular small cave area which we call cave, is a very IPM term that we use for our
Okay, that's
small
great.
area where we have LAN ports and people play games here. There are a lot of late night chats, and there's study tables, there's shoes, a lot of there's a very spacious almari that we have. And apart from that, I think the infrastructure, I don't think anybody should have an issue with that because it's just amazing. And
If you can please
yeah,
elaborate over there also, मतलब क्या क्या है exactly? What all uh,
okay,
these guys are going to get, which they usually do not get in their normal regular
normal
rooms.
day.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool right here in the hostel. We have a badminton court, right in the center of Amit's all room. So if I go out of this door right now, I can see probably people playing badminton because our interns just finished and all of the people from our batch are having fun downstairs. And we have a washing machine also as well. So all the facilities in terms of, just the standard of living is just like you would expect at a premium management institute. And my expectations were high, but then the first time when I came here, I was also colored shocked just by the, sheer availability of things. You have a sports complex which offers you tools such to play billiards, squash. You can go to swimming. You have 3 gyms, one of them being an outdoor gym. You have an entire cricket stadium to yourself. You can go for running. You can go for there's a lot of activities that you can do in the night and as well as in the evening. There's various club committees also organize things weekly. There are competitions you can be part of. And even when you're in the online scenario, these club committees ensure that you have something to look forward to even when the classes are done. So when I came here, what you usually don't get in other colleges also, I feel, is the vast infrastructure, just not just in terms of sports, but also in terms of just standard of living that we have.
You know, I have given you some questions. Just moving away and drifting away from those questions, let
Yeah,
me ask you this because many parents put this question in front of me and they say, they are charging so high. They're charging
yeah,
so high. So, is it the standard of the college? But when I asked from one of my old students who is the alumna of SuperGrads, she told me, they're not charging high. I said, it's 27 or 28 lakhs. What are you saying? And then she told me that, it's the high quality of the deliverables, which is unmatchable completely. So, do you agree with her? And if yes, please throw some light on the deliverables as well.
okay. Yeah, so when you break down the entire fee structure of that, of the 28 lakhs or 29 lakhs that we have, most of it you'll realize is the tuition fees. And even though the hostel fees that we have here is relatively higher, I think the facilities that have been provided by the administration here is more than enough because housekeeping is taking care of every of your needs that you can possibly imagine. There's people attending to whatever, there's a tube light that needs to be changed, or there's some facility that has been broken or needs to be changed. Everything you can get done through the TCS and portal. And all of this I realized after coming here because, yeah, belonging from a middle class family myself, my parents also discussed the same with me that they are charging a high fee. So if your standard of living is not as good as we are paying for, then obviously it's not worth it. But the moment you step foot in your room or in the campus, you'll realize that whatever these people are providing or charging, you'll consider it to be a fair amount given the amount of facilities we have here. And it's not just quantity, it's also quality.
Actually, one more thought coming in from this particular discussion,
Yeah.
I also got to know that almost 90% people take education loan and they easily get it because they have already cracked IPM aptitude test and all. Is it right or
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah, most of my friends are also studying on loans. For myself, I considered applying for a loan as well because everybody does because there are banks that provide you education loan, and because you're at this premier institute, people would be readily available to give you loans because of the surety of the placements. So yeah, there are people existing who have taken loans.
So very important point being made over here by Ayush that if you wish to go for education loan, then definitely you can carry that IIM tag. मैंने IIM
Yeah,
aptitude test इंदौर निकाला है और आप definitely उस average में loan apply कर सकते हैं. That's going to be very useful for you guys because banks would be looking at you completely differently then because IIM and
they'll be
IITs have got that tag, right?
exactly. They will treat you as an asset. So if you can avail those facilities, obviously you should.
All right, great. Now let me ask you this particular question. So I have been asking this many of the students earlier as well. What till date you have got from the college, which you think you
Okay.
are missing till 12th standard? in your life?
Okay. So I'll just list down. So I'm come from Jamshedpur, which is like a small town, which is basically run by the Tatas, as everybody knows.
Okay.
So there are a lot of facilities that were there in the city, but when you come to college, so just speaking very personally, I've learned swimming. I've learned to play. I've gotten better at volleyball. I've also explored a lot of. I'm not including academics here because I think that's a given. The quality of education that is being imparted. There are various courses that is sure to just I cannot decide which is the best course in those 7 terms that I've studied because there's just so much to learn and you gain so much from the professors as well. If there are some professors who have an inkling with your interest, you gain connections. A lot of my friends, because it's a close knit campus and it's just 400 people in the entirety of IPM, 400 to 450 plus people, there can easily be made, bonds that would last you a lifetime. So coming to this college during the 3 years that I have been pursuing my undergraduate degree, I think the entire experience kinds of manifests itself in a way that further in my life, if I need something or I want to look up to someone, there are always people existing around me whom I can go to. And just because I was there in this college and they were in this college too, they would be willing and ready to help me. And that I think in itself is a very big asset that you can take away from this college.
I think the answer is fulfilling, completely fulfilling, and definitely the way he answered it, it showed that he's carrying that pride with him. And definitely, he did not mention few other things like he was not doing laundry before standard 12th. He was not doing the
Yeah,
dishes. Yeah, if you want to
yeah.
throw some light
Those
over there also. Yeah,
So you learn to be independent from in college.
definitely.
And the thing again, the networking point is brought in here also because let's say you don't know how to operate a washing machine. There are seniors who will tell you how to use a washing machine because their seniors told them how to do it.
Right.
They will so it's basically information passing on from batch to batch. And that is I will give you the basic example of, we didn't know that we could go out, to certain terraces in our academic block and certain terraces, certain spots on campus, which you would not usually explore because you just don't know there such spots you can go to. But once your seniors tell them, you have more interaction with them also, you create a bond. And essentially having seniors as well as juniors as well as friends in your batch just helps you gain more information about the surroundings around you. So not only does it make you independent, but also it just tells you what's the right amount of codependency is and how much you can lean on people to tell them that, hi, I need help. Can you please show me that? So
Okay.
yeah,
So that's the essence of life when you're completely happy, surrounded by people, busy, bustling, and definitely moving ahead in the life with so much of positive aura in and around. Next question coming to you. Now moving back to your 12th grade times, how was IPM preparations? Was the exam tough? And was the competition tough getting inside this particular college?
okay. So I'm going to compare it to, so to give the people a background, I'm an eco-science student, so which is the PCM subjects with English and economics. So I will compare IPMAT to JEE. So even though JEE has a lot of people, IPMAT, a lot of people do not give it, but at the end of the day, there are just 120 seats. So I
Which has
feel
increased
that
to 150. I'll just
150 right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
right now
So
150.
when
When
I
he
was
gave it, it
giving the
was
test,
120. Yeah,
it was but now it's 150. So the ratio of 22,000 plus people giving the test and
right.
only 120 or 150 being
Yeah.
selected out of it, that I think plays a bigger factor than the test being difficult. The test surely was not as easy as the other entrances I gave for colleges, and yeah, it required you to use your own critical thinking skills or in my case writing ability as I gave the written ability test. So there are skills that are gauged in the entrance test as well, which are difficult, but the sheer amount of ratio, because you have to be among those top people among the crowd that is giving the test, and that crowd happens to be big, that's what I think is the more you know determining factor, and which used to hold me back when I used to think, oh, will I be able to clear the test or not? So even if you get inhibitions, all you have to do is just believe in yourself and just keep practicing.
I completely agree with you. I mean, not only the competition, but after your passage of the year, even the examination which they are taking right now has become tough, and it's becoming tougher with every passing year as well. So the quality of questions which are being put in are really difficult to break if you do not know the nuances of the English as well as math part. Now, next question coming to you is, okay, so till 12th you were there in the Tata city, Jamshedpur, you went to Indore, new city, new college, that to a completely residential program. Was the ice breaking tough that point of time?
Okay. So I was very scared, to be honest, 31st July 2019 when I was coming to Indore.
Okay.
And I got a little bit more scared when I landed at the airport, and then I took a cab, and then I was looking at the surroundings, and my mom just goes in the car. Look carefully, you have to be here for 5 years. Which was the fact that took me back, like, oh, I have to be here, I have to be used to this. So the unfamiliarity of it all was a bit daunting, but the moment I stepped foot in campus, the campus was so pretty. The people were so welcoming. The batches, senior batches knew that there's a junior batch incoming. So they had to be, I'm super grateful to my seniors because not only were they, kind enough to show us how to live our lives to the fullest here, but also they were very welcoming and did not, feel like we didn't belong here. They also made sure that we are part of the IPM family and we are treated like that as well. So apart from the campus being beautiful, when talking about the ice breaking session, uh, the badminton court that I just mentioned, the seniors called us there on our second day, and we had a very informal interaction between the seniors and the juniors, and that's how you basically start to get to know people. Basically, you get to know who are the people who have similar interests as you, who are the people whom you can have a conversation with, whom your friends can be, and basically have a close knit family of yours in this particular undergraduate course.
Acha, I
So
just want to, sorry for interrupting over here. I mean, the big point being made by him over here, that, you're not going to be racked. So don't worry on that particular part. And whenever you're over there, the seniors make sure that you guys, make it feel home whenever you're in the campus at that point of time. So, if you can share some of the best experiences you have had till date, because, that will make them feel, because many students who would be traveling from one place to another and are homesick in particular, because there are many students who are homesick, and when they come over there and reside over there for the period of 5 years, that thought kills them, that you have to stay over there for the period of 5 years. So these moments are going to help them, that it's not that challenging. And Ayush is supposedly the same kind of person, because he clearly told that when his mom made a statement that you are going to stay over the 5 years, that scared him completely that point of time. Okay, how did you overcome that thought at that point of time, Ayush?
okay. So the funny thing about my sleep schedule here, and I'm talking about my sleep, you'll get to know. So I never used to sleep less than 7.5 hours when I was back home. Even then, my standard 12th, I never used to do late night, pull an all-nighter, just study all night. But the
Okay.
moment I came here, there is just so much to do. Not just in terms of there's academics, there's deadlines you have to meet, there's group projects, you have to hang out with your friends. Maybe you are playing, you like sports, you go to play sports.
So many
I,
commitments.
yeah, so many commitments. You just simply don't realize that it's. I remember distinctly, I was 1 week into college and I was thinking in all my glory that, oh, it's 5 o'clock, classes have just ended, and I will go have a lot of fun today. And I just went into the room and I started talking to just random people, just started making conversation about our interests, first week of college. And in a jiffy, it was 9 p.m. and we have to go for dinner. So I had no idea where those 4 hours flew by.
Yeah.
There was just so much interaction and conversation that goes around in the hostel that I don't think that up until your time you go to your room when you're exhausted and done for the day and just sleep is on your mind, then only you'll think that, oh, probably I'm homesick or I'm thinking of home. But then the next day you get up, you're rejuvenated again and you're ready for social interaction on your classes. And there's just so much to do that, first of all, I don't think you'll be, you know, you'll even have the time to think that oh, I'm homesick and I'm missing home and I want to go back. And secondly, it's not that you don't have time for all the wrong reasons. You are having fun and you are learning
All right.
throughout.
Yeah, that's great.
So it is a fulfilling experience. And even if you're homesick, just go out of the room, talk to few people. I'm sure you'll feel better.
I mean, I don't know. It's a great answer being given by him that if you they will not spare a moment for you to think that you're homesick. So, you will not be that, the life is not going to be that easy. It's going to be busy, but with fun. So, but busy with fun is the
It's the
what,
good kind of busy.
yeah, it's a good kind of busy. So, fantastic, Ayush. Next question is coming to you. You know, lot many things we talked about in and around the campus. How was your non-academic experience over there? So we have heard that there is a lot to do in and around the campus. It's some of my students were telling me that they have to sell the food over there as well. Uh, and some told me that
Okay.
there is a swimming pool, there's a Thug festival, then there is Run Bhumi. So share some of the experiences related to all these uh,
Okay.
three,
So
four
I'll
things.
talk about my pre-COVID experiences because the moment COVID subsides, I feel that
But
colleges,
COVID had stopped each and everything. तो पूरा world रुक
yeah,
गया था. So yes,
yeah.
pre-COVID
So
experiences, please.
So there used to be my favorite. I'm starting with this because this is my ultimate favorite thing to do. Thursdays are free and I'm in the technically when we used to have offline classes. Thursdays used to be our Sundays. So we used to get up. If we have a quiz, we used to give our quiz at like 9 a.m. and by 10:30 everybody used to be free. So if you want to chill in your room with your friends, play cards or just watch movies or just sit and chat around, you can do that as well. Or you can go to the city using the buses that the college itself provides. You can go to the malls, you can go to the cafes. I remember this one time, my favorite experience of all time, we went to bowling and we had a rooftop restaurant that we went to. Apart from that, in campus, if you want to stay, the campus is super pretty and there are so many beautiful spots that you can just go with your friends or alone even if you want to
What all
and just
spots, if you can please throw some light on
yeah,
on them?
I was coming. So there's this stairway to heaven, which is just a huge flight of stairs, which takes you up to the academic block. So
So how come
when
it's
you
heaven?
okay, so there's this concept. I also read this answer on I think some internet. I think it was Quora. I'm not sure because
Okay,
I
okay.
think Quora is academically
Yeah.
related. So there is a basic altitude difference in the campus. So basically, there's hell, there's earth, and there's heaven.
What are you
So
talking about?
yeah, so basically, it's heaven contains places like the library, which is the learning center, the
Okay.
academic block. So basically, it's the highest altitude that we
Okay.
have. Then you go down a little, then there's mess one, then there's the HRC. There are a few other hostels. There's the pie shop, which is run by a shop which is run by the IPM students itself. And then when you come further down is where we live, which is supposedly hell. It's not hell in terms. It's just altitude. It's
I
not
was
hell.
I was curious to know about this hell concept also.
Yeah.
So
It's just altitudes. It's nothing related to whatever happens down here or up there. It's just that we have to climb down the slope to reach here, and there's basically climbing up you go. So this we have at the bottommost, it's the sports complex. So the stairs start from the sports complex and lead to the academy. So that's why it's called Stairway to Heaven. So
okay.
there are various spots in Stairway to Heaven where you can sit and just admire the view. And as far as your eye can see, there's just trees, nature, and you can see some parts of the campus and the city as well. And it looks super pretty during no matter what season, even if it's winter, summer, or rainy. All the three times. And I've seen so many people just going there and clicking pictures because every time the sky just looks so pretty that you cannot resist just taking out your phone and sending pictures to your friends that yeah, I'm having fun basically.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Nice to know all these things, because every time when we talk to our students, they will come up with some stories which we have not heard. And this heaven thing is completely new to me. But one thing which I got to know from one of my students in the past was related to the placements, and it was so strange that what she told me that many times companies visit on the campus and they come up with their problems. Whoever comes with the solution of that particular problem gets a job. So if you want to throw some light on this particular aspect, because it is it seems to be a miracle kind of a thing, because mostly when we used to be in our MBA time, or when we used to be studying that point of time, we have to go through the written test, then 2 or 3 GDs, then we have to crack the personal interviews, and then we were finally given an offer. Okay, that point of time. How is it different from that particular experience?
Okay, so I'll be giving my answer based on whatever I've heard from my seniors.
Sure.
So basically, a lot of companies, what they do is at the end of the day, they are hiring you to do the same job. So they are just providing a little snippet of the job, and if you're good at what you're doing, the companies will obviously hire you. And this especially happens in consulting domains and operations domains, because they have a lot of problems that need to be addressed by various companies, and all of those problems are different from each other because it's a different company, it's a different organization, and different set of people that you're dealing with. So in a consulting company, if they're facing an issue and they just give you a problem that okay, or even if they give you a past problem that their managers came up with a solution with. So let's say you get a better answer or a very similar answer to what those managers had suggested, and you showed the company that whatever you're suggesting is not just feasible, but also can be done, effectively and can be implemented as well. It does not sound just good on paper, but is also practical. Then I think the companies would obviously want to hire you, because going through a very academically rigorous process and sitting, like as you said, the interviews, clearing out papers, writing GD, discussing GDs, and just moving forward with the normal interviews, what doing a sort of case analysis is just putting you in the shoes of what you will be doing for which you are getting paid for. So essentially, if you are doing your job well, if you are employable enough, if the company thinks that you can be an asset to them, then I'm sure that the you have acquired such skills throughout your journey for the company to feel so, and you deserve to be in that place.
Great, 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 great. Okay, Ayush, now many students, right now want that life which you are in right now. Okay, and definitely they may be preparing from scratch to finish, from morning to evening for that particular part. So, what advice would you be giving to all those students who are going to write IPM aptitude test Indore in the year 2022 and 23 in particular? One more question I'm going to club up with it. Recently, new education policy came up with a few lines in it that, all the educational institutions should promote the integrated program. And after that, IPM has taken an altogether different shape. So we have also been listening that certainly, big IIMs like Bangalore are going to launch their IPM program. Okay. So my first question to you is, what advice are you going to give to the students who are listening to you right now? And second one is this news correct?
Okay. So I'll start by answering the second part of the question because
Okay.
it's a shorter
Okay.
answer.
Sure.
So yeah, the director who started the IPM program in IIM Indore and made it what it is right now became the director of IIM Bangalore, and that's why every IIM is at least trying to or entertaining the idea of launching this IPM program. And if they are, that just speaks to how successful the IPM batches have been previously. Because one thing that I've realized in my third year, which I did not realize in my first 2 years, is that we are very academically ahead and rigorous than all other undergraduate courses that have been offered in India. And
Great.
apart from that, because of this diversity of subjects that we have, ranging from humanities to statistical methods, mathematics to economics, just because we have a certain footing in that particular area, we are more employable than the other candidates probably there in the country.
Great.
So obviously that makes it a lucrative position for any college to launch this integrated program. And this brings me to the first part of the answer, that because this is such a lucrative position that you want to be a part of, which is why you should put your efforts into it. You should make sure that when you're given the IPMAT test, there is not a what if in your mind, or you feel that there's just a nagging sense of doubt that you could have performed better if you would have practiced. For that to not happen, you need to put in efforts day in and day out and ensure that at the end of the day, you are finishing whatever milestones you set for you. So I believe in a very fluid structure of studying. So you decide what is best for you. Either you follow a time bound restraint or you follow an objectively number of questions restraint. So either you sit for 3 hours and study, or you take out, like, I have to do 50 questions in a day. Doesn't matter which time or how much time it takes. So whatever works best for you, go with that path and just be consistent. You don't have to be erratic. You don't have to leave your preparation for a week and then come back to it, because then the flow breaks. And the moment you are consistent is the moment you ensure that whatever questions come at the test during the test, you are not thrown away, or it's not a new concept to you. You know what you have done, you know that you have been practicing, and when you sit in the exam, you are confident that yes, I know how to solve this question and I'm going to do it efficiently. And for that to happen, all you have to do is be consistent and just be true to yourself and stick to whatever path you are choosing.
Okay, one thought came in my mind from your first answer. You clearly and very, boldly are saying it that, IPM is perhaps the best course available for all the students across all the streams after 12th standard, and they're the most employable people in the entire country, right?
Yeah.
From this thought, let me ask you this particular question as well, because it's a notion, many students giving CAT and coming for an MBA program, and I get confused over there. It's in India only that students are going into the engineering field, then moving to MBA. They come going to the BCom field, then moving to the MBA. Why not to start with an IPM instead? So then there are people who said, value of PG course is higher or is on the higher side than IPM. Please break this notion right now. I mean, uh, I have, because quality of education which you guys are getting is for the 5 years. You are being taught numerous subjects that makes you, stand tall on the roles and responsibilities. How can a PG course be better than IPM then?
Okay. So I also face this bias and notion a lot that PGP people are better than IPMers just because they've cleared CAT and after doing their entire undergraduate course they have cleared a certain exam and then reached MBA. But the thing with IPM is that it does not restrict you, as I've been saying previously also, because they give you certain, because when let's say an engineering person and undergraduate person comes up to MBA and just has courses such as philosophy, economics, and other such, so obviously they will be at a disadvantage because we don't want to be, termed as the brunt end of the deal. And what we end up doing is essentially we need to promote IPM for companies and people to realize that yes, this is one of the best courses of undergraduate degree offered in the country, and because of its diversity. Because there are ultimately the course is designed by professors who know what they are doing. There are so many professors who are so attached to IPM. They've said in their last classes that they help design the structure of the course, they help design which subjects go in, how the terms should be structured. It shows the efforts that they're putting in so that the people in the country realize that okay, if I want to do management, I would rather not do engineering or like switch to a BCom and then come and do the MBA here. Just start from IPM. It will give you a better idea of what you are doing, what you want to do, how you want to run a business, or even work in the corporate service sector, and just have a overall rounded degree of not just knowing how to carry yourself, but also presenting your work in such a way that you're treated respectfully all around the world.
So Ayush gave one point in the answer he answered just in a question I asked before this one. And he gave a line of this particular interview that, IPM students are the most employable students across the country. So this also gives me one more thought that, yes, they're the most employable students across the country. That makes sure that, value addition that is done by one particular course is more important than anything else uh, inside the college, be it infrastructure, be it placements, be it uh, the quality of students. So the most important part is if a course is doing a kind of a value addition, nothing else can do. So if you can throw some light, what value do you think this particular course is going to add in different lives? Because that will give that is going to show the true essence of this particular course to all the audience right now.
Okay, so I'll give a very academic perspective of what is happening. So we have courses that have a lot of group components as well, and we have courses which have individual components. And the basic structure of our course is designed in such a way that certain courses complement each other. So what I feel is different for IPM that makes it the best undergraduate course is that we have a lot of group components in certain courses. We have individual components as well, and we have components which test our thinking not just academically but also require us. So, for an example, let's say we have group projects, and there are 8 other people that you have to work. So not only does that entire experience of making that group project tells you what to, how to make people work, how to fit in a team, how to be a better team player. It also teaches you and gives you values which will help you in during your job as well. So this is what I feel makes us employable, because interacting with people, doing a daily interaction in the sense, you have to get work done from them and you have to incorporate all of the ideas in such a way that there is a best possible outcome that comes out of that streamline of thought. So, and apart from that, the courses itself are structured in such a way that they are very practical. So, I'll just give an example, because let's say people are interested in literature. So, there's this course, critical thinking and writing skills. So, it just tells you whatever appeals to your cognition is how you write a paper. So, if a reader who has an absolutely different viewpoint from you is reading your article, what would go through their heads and what should you write to make them feel that yeah, they are also being included in this narrative, and at the end of the day, even if they disagree with your viewpoint, they would take their time out to read your article just because you've presented it in such a way that makes it, compliance to all the social obligations that you have to follow.
Okay,
Apart from this,
interesting.
yeah, apart from this, let's take courses from the more mathematical side. So let's say there is a course called discrete optimization. So basically, you will solve real life problems such as, there are various warehouse facilities that you can open that deliver to certain customers, but you have to decide which warehouse to open so as to minimize the total cost of, the fixed cost of keeping the warehouse also, and all the customers are also satisfied and so being served by the warehouse. With problems such as this, case studies which are political science, we have readings and case studies which are real world application of the geopolitics in our current nation that is happening. So when you're being taught all these real world applications, you're being taught all the things that will ultimately, not just make you an erudite compared to the other people in your organization, but also give you space to explore and learn more about yourself. That is what I feel makes us a notch better than all the other undergraduate students, because we know what is going around in the world. We just don't know textbookish knowledge. We are also having practical knowledge, and we know what works when, and we can adapt to certain situations better than other people would.
So it completely summarizes what we all have been, talking about since long time. That what is holistic development of brain? What is 360 degree development of a brain? So when it is bought, whenever you come across all these situations and things which your brain has not yet is not accustomed to, I mean, it's not accustomed to all these things, and when it does that, so all these experiences being shared by Ayush are fantastic, I guess, and that makes, IPM program completely different and, looked up to program from our side. Now the last segment, moving to the last segment of this particular interview, a very crucial segment, in fact, rate I am Indore's IPM program, or I am Indore. On these parameter, uh, you have to rate it out of 10, and you'll be giving the reason why you're giving these marks to it. So the first one is infrastructure.
Okay. Infrastructure is has to be 10 out of 10,
Okay.
because I will give a full score to whichever parameter I think do not have any scope of improvement.
All right.
So I had an image of the hostel when I was in home, when I realized I got the provisional admission letter. So I realized a certain image that, that I am Indore essentially had to live up to. And they not only live up to that, they surpassed it and they were better at it. So whenever I think what can be better in terms of infrastructure, there is nothing that comes to my mind, which is why I'm giving it a 9.
So मतलब resort जैसा look है वहां पर ना. No need of going to resort as well, क्योंकि you told me that there's a swimming pool over there and there is.
Yeah, there's everything. There's everything that you need, be it in terms of sports, be it in terms of sightseeing, being in terms of just standard of living. You don't have to worry about anything here.
All right, the teachers or the faculty that are teaching over there.
Okay, I think for the professors, I would give a 9 out of 10, because there are you cannot possibly. I'm just giving it a 9 because it's not an fault on their end, but on our end, because it's not possible that we can interact with all the professors and make use of all the resources that we have there. So let's say that my interests are more aligned in the mathematics or the communications department. So I'm obviously interacting more and I'm comfortable more with professors of that particular department. So you are making use of the resources you have at your hand, but at the same time you're losing out also on some professors. So even though the faculty tries their level best to interact with the class as much as they can, make it such an environment that is conducive to learning and not just promotes learning, but also gives out certain messages that, yeah, even if you face certain problems in the future, you can still drop a mail to me because you have always been my student and I'll always be your professor throughout life.
All right. So most of the 12th graders, look up to the movies like, Student of the Year and then also कि भैया कॉलेज हमारा ऐसा होना चाहिए. कॉलेज तो ऐसा
Yeah.
ही होता है. So what about that college vibe and college life? How will you rate it
Okay.
out of 10?
College life, hands down, 9.5 out of 10. And again, that 0.5 is cut because I have also not done so many things that I was supposed to have done by now because I'm the final year of my undergraduate.
Okay.
So the moment you step inside the campus and you see the entire Indian Institute of Management Indore, big bold letters stuck on the acad block, and you're standing in front of that, there is bound to be a sense of pride that hits you that yes, I must have been doing something right in my life so that I'm standing here right now and I'm being in the place which is giving me this feeling. So because you're in a respectable college and people look up to you, there is a particular standard of living that you have been conformed to. And just because of the interactions and conversations you have, it makes you grow not just as a person who will be good at their jobs, but also individually also your opinions change because IPM at the end of the day is a very diverse, not just in terms of academics but also in terms of people that come here. We have people from science, humanities, commerce background. We have people from various states and every nook and cranny of the world. So the world being India. So if people come in and share their experiences with one another, it's bound to be different, and you get to know how other people view the same things or were doing what you were doing when you were in standard 11. So the moment you put all of that and bring it to the same pedestal as yes, you're in the same batch, there is a certain growth that happens for you in terms of individuality, which makes you better as a person. And that is why I feel that the college life makes you a better person than you were when you first entered the college.
Great. Okay, somebody clearly told me, you are all what five people you interact with on a regular basis makes you. So you are composition of the five people you meet on a very very regular basis. So जिन लोगों के साथ आप बहुत interact करते हो, उठना बैठना आपका ज्यादा है, जो gentry आपके in and around है, वही आप हो. So from that, I can get that the quality of students in a particular college decides the actual fate of that particular college. So how
Yeah,
about the quality
absolutely.
of students at IIM Indore? Because that would be a clear reflection of the future of this particular college. Yes, Ayush.
Okay. So I think in terms of student, what kind of students are there in the college, I would again give a solid 9.5 out of 10
Great.
because, as I said, the course is also diverse, and you don't have to be good at all of these courses to get a very good grade or be considered a good, academician at college. So let's say because I've learned coding, I'm good at computer science courses, so I'm getting a decent grade there. But I've not studied humanities before or not comfortable in subjects such as sociology and philosophy. So what I'm not getting as good a grade at the other course, which is why the student, diversity gets better because a person who's not good at let's take a very typical redundant 10th standard example. If I'm not good at science, I will not be good at either physics, chemistry, or math. And
Okay.
because that's a clear indication of I should not take the science stream.
Right.
But here, if you're good at a particular course, that does not necessarily mean that you're bad at a particular at another course. The students who are at the top of the chart for some particular course can also be at the bottom of some particular course, which is
Okay.
why you cannot decide which student is the best of the lot in pure academic or non-academic terms, because there are people and the entire table just keeps on shifting, and there is a certain range that you conform to, true, but there is a lot of movement within that range by a lot of people as well, which
That
is
does
why I
mean that
feel that
both the hemispheres of your brain are being tested each and
exactly.
every time. Yeah.
Exactly. So it does not matter that you're not good at humanities. The simple fact that you're doing that, your college is having a course that is making you do such courses, expands your brain and lets it think in ways that it hasn't before. And that I think is just a sheer amount of growth that cannot happen in India. The college.
Great, great. Now let's talk about the most appealing thing, placements. How much you're going to rate it out of 10?
I think I rate the placements a solid 9 on 10
Okay.
because this is again not a first-hand experience because all I've heard are from seniors. So there are a lot of companies which give in a lot of offers which are very lucrative, and the job opportunities are so much appealing and just so covered in gold that you just want to be a part of. So if you have a certain environment and you have 100%, 100% placement always has been the rule and norm and the thumb rule here. So if you have that kind of environment around you, you gain a sense of confidence that yes, whatever I'm doing makes me a certain degree of employable that will always help me in my journey ahead, even if I decide to change fields midway during my job life.
Oh, you
So
should I replace this word employable to white collar employment? I mean, because none of them are employed less at all, right?
yeah, I don't think though the term white collar because that would mean all of us are doing corporate service jobs. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, we are getting qualities which make us, as I said, you can switch jobs. So if you're done with the corporate life, if you just wanted to experience this for a span of like 3 years or 5 years, after that you can open your new business as well. And why can you do that effectively? Because you have the skill set. Your college is giving you certain, aspirations in your head and has told you what to do at what step so that you know what is better for you and
Hmm.
you can do whatever you want to because you have the skills to know what is good for you and you can be good.
All right. Now, I should not be asking it because most of these students, may be completing their post graduations from your college, but are there some higher education opportunities also? If yes, then how are you going to rate it out of 10?
Yeah, I'm going to rate this on a solid 10 out of 10 because
How?
there are certain higher of, because at the end of the day, there are some pure minded academicians here who want to do their PhD and you want to be the best at what their particular niche is.
All right.
So
Okay.
being in this college, completing the MBA gives you the facility that, okay, if you want to streamline your entire resume and make yourself a completely finance person, there are certain certifications, there are certain degrees that you can pursue even after your MBA. That would make you, stand out of the crowd in that particular sector. If
Great.
you want to do an operations management or even a communications, you can get a PhD in even one of those fields. And because there are professors who themselves have been in those shoes, that's why being in this particular college helps you even more. Because even if you have a simple doubt about what I should do further in life, you can simply drop a mail to one of your professors you're not comfortable with, and they will, particularly if they cannot answer it themselves, they will direct you to some place, some other professor or some other institution that can give you a better answer to whatever it is that is haunting your mind.
Now, last, the summing up thing coming to you right now, life at the campus.
Okay, I would give this one a solid 11 out of 10 because
Okay.
again, 10 out of 10 is there can be nothing better. 11 out of 10 is even if you try your worst to have a bad time at campus, you simply cannot. There's just even being in your
No,
room
no, just
alone.
just hold your thought, hold your thought. You told me, even if
Yeah,
you think that worst comes to you, it is not going to be. What's going on in your mind? I
yeah,
just want to know that.
yeah. So basically, let's just say that I'm having a super bad day and I just don't want to interact with people,
All right.
and I'm just sitting in my room. So a
Okay.
normal 10 out of 10 would just be a constant that I'm in that state of mind up until I decide to do something about it. But I gave it 11 out of 10 because when you're just, let's say you just decide to, you're not feeling good, you just decide to take a walk on the campus. You'll see pretty flowers around you, you'll see the sky, you'll see
Okay.
welcoming people, you'll see people smiling at you, and you'll be forced to be happy and smile to the people around you. And that in itself is a good thing because if you manifest good around you, there is simply no way that you can feel bogged down about the pressures in your life, or you can simply just take stress about what is not happening in your life. So even if you're feeling bad, there are certain externalities which make sure that you realize that you are in a place of privilege and you should be happy about it. And not just you should be happy about it, you should see yourself from a lens of confidence and have pride in whatever you are, right?
Okay, Ayush, I think it was a fantastic interview with you. And the conclusive point which I can take it from this particular interview is that uh, people may be expecting that they'll be getting placements from IIM Indore. They may be expecting that there will be a lot of value addition in terms of the diversity of the courses in and around. There is fantastic campus over there. But last point was a conclusion over there. You are taking happiness from there, so that's the most precious thing one can have in the life. Thank you for sparing time for us, and thank you, Ayush, for this 2 day journey. So we have had a lot of conversation with Ayush that's going to be very fruitful for all the students who are listening to us. So subscribe SuperGrads YouTube channel, press the bell icon, and stay connected with us always. Thank you. Thanks a lot.